Well, I feel like, man, whatever you do wrong must come back around in a circle. Just like, you know what I'm talking about? If you did wrong and everybody know it's blatant, the truth is out in the open. You sent that type of energy towards the Young Dolph way, and you got no Young Dolph knocked off. I talked to Govan. I did an interview with Hernandez Govan, the dude who set the whole, supposedly, you know what I'm saying, Dolph murder.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad to hear that.
It's just Memphis one of them cities like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you pay attention, it always been a artist at the city center. I'm the king of Memphis. I'm the king of Memphis. That's why it done been so hard for other artists to pop out and take off, because everybody want to be that I. The big one is just me. You know what I mean? But
CMG's whole empire looks like it's shaking in real time, and people in Memphis can feel the pressure rising like heat off the pavement. For years, the streets whispered that things behind Yo Gotti's clean, polished image weren't as perfect as they looked. But now those whispers sound more like alarms blasting across the city. Folks ain't imagining it. The tension is real, and the cracks are showing everywhere. Then out of nowhere, Stan G, one of the most plugged-in voices in Memphis, stepped onto No Jumper and dropped a statement so heavy it had the whole city pausing. He didn't dance around the topic or speak in circles. He said it directly, and he said it like someone who wasn't scared of the fallout. According to him, Yo Gotti might be moving against his own artist, Blac Youngsta, and this ain't coming from some rumor mill or random street comment. This came from a man who...
Yeah, at this point, because you lost all the say his last artist is Glorilla. She doing crazy because he putting a crazy bag behind Glorilla.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So Glorilla, she gonna shine regardless right now. But when he go over there and dealing with them Texas boys, them folk got hit up. Them folk got hit up. Everywhere he go to, like the field watching. You know what I'm talking about? He signed that boy over there, that boy end up going to jail. So they watching that boy so close right.
It's been around the real conversations happening behind closed doors. Stan G made it clear. He's connected to people who were close to Young Dolph's case. And that alone made the city lean in fast, because when he speaks, it's usually based on what he's already heard from the core of Memphis. He said the same type of energy Gotti allegedly had toward Dolph, the same cold moves people talked about for years, could easily flip inward.
Cause bro, it's like, if you so gangster, why the f you rapping? Why you ain't out there killing? You need to go do some murders, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you're a killer, go kill shit. You out here on this stage for, you know what I'm saying? So I look at it like, so many people want to be rappers. And so many people I ain't no rapper, I'm a street. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much bullshit. So I had to wonder to myself like.
And if someone can treat an opposing artist like that, what really stops them from turning on someone wearing the same team colors? When Stan G laid it out, he didn't soften a single detail. He explained that Blac Youngsta was viewed as Gotti's sin, the one who'd go all out for CMG with no hesitation. He was the loud one in the videos, the bold one speaking wild, the one taking risks others avoided.
the only reason I didn't do it, like I could have went over there and got with Gotti and got the co-signer and sped my whole process up. But at the same time, I couldn't do it because I had too much of my own money and too much of my own time invested into it. So it wouldn't have made sense for me. You see what I'm saying? And man, it's like, that's Memphis, bro. That town is too small. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, if anything, if he wanted to do something, I wanted to do something, bro, it's like, let's do it. That town is small.
At first, it worked perfectly. CMG stayed hot, the buzz kept growing, and Youngsta's energy kept the streets talking. But now, with the Dolph situation still heavy in the air, that same wild loyalty looks more like a liability than an asset. Stan G said Youngsta's position doesn't look powerful anymore, it looks dangerous. And in Gotti's world, danger means you can be swapped out fast without warning. Fans caught the message instantly because Stan G wasn't chasing clout or trying to go viral.
Like that.
What's the first thing you plan to do?
Go hug my son.
Mr. Govan, you haven't smiled all this week, but obviously you have a lot to smile about. Just tell me just about what you're feeling in right now.
Like I said, it's kind of hard to explain the feeling of getting your life back.
He was sending a warning straight through the city like a lightning strike. Watch your back. Stan G didn't whisper it, he delivered it like a final warning echoing through the city. Everybody who knows the streets understood exactly what he meant. What you put into the world always circles back, and the way Gotti has been moving lately makes Blac Youngsta, so-called loyalty, look like the very thing that could put him at serious risk. That's when everything started looking unsteady, like the whole label was walking on cracked ground, ready to split open. CMG once sat on top like royalty. Gotti had the kind of roster most labels dream about, Moneybag. Yo, flooding the charts with hit after hit, Blac Youngsta. Going viral non-stop with that wild, unpredictable energy, and Glorilla blowing up almost overnight like a force of nature.
On time, see, it's a long story behind Blac Youngsta. See, Blac Youngsta was hanging with one of Gotti enemies before he got with Gotti. So Blac Youngsta is somebody who just jump around for the money. He's just a send out. He one of the biggest send outs from Memphis. They just keep.
From the outside, it looked like a tight, unstoppable family. Everybody shining, moving strong together, and showing no signs of weakness. But now that picture doesn't look like strength anymore. It looks like a family portrait with pieces missing. Moneybag's momentum slowed down noticeably. Youngsta's spark dimmed. His presence wasn't hitting the same. Gotti's focus started shifting heavy toward Glorilla, the last one, still keeping the CMG brand loud in the industry. Even she is feeling the pressure because right now, she's carrying the entire Label S reputation on her shoulders with every move she makes. Instead of family energy, the whole camp feels like it slipped into survival mode. Fans are watching closely, trying to figure out who's next to distance themselves, who's really safe in that circle, and who's just waiting for their turn to be pushed out. Then everything got even crazier. Blac Youngsta suddenly wiped CMG from his bio, gone with no explanation, and started dropping cryptic captions that didn't feel like jokes. They sounded like someone speaking from frustration, someone sending messages straight at the camp without saying the names out loud. Right after Youngsta started acting distant, Stan G doubled back with another heavy warning, and that's when the joke stopped completely. People quit laughing it off as trolling and started realizing the situation might be way more real than anyone thought.
Y'all rich tell them bitch what it is, bro.
Fly fan shit, y'all fly niggas,
Look,
CMG
big.
shit, y'all rich niggas, every count shit.
Nah, I would never f them broke ass. Like, shit. When I was broke, why would I f them now they broke? It ain't my fault you broke. You were playing on me. I'm telling my mom. Ooh, I'm pregnant. Ooh. My shoe just fell out. Ooh, my head just fell out. Ooh.
The vibe around CMG changed instantly. Fans started noticing how the crew moved quiet, strange, calculated. Nothing like how they used to operate. Every post feels secretive. Every move looks rehearsed. And all that past talk about loyalty doesn't hit with the same weight anymore. It feels like a script instead of a truth. To understand why the tension between Yo Gotti and Blac Youngsta runs so deep, you gotta rewind everything back to young Dolph. Because that S where the smoke started and never went away. Years ago, Gotti tried to sign Dolph. He wanted him under the CMG umbrella. But Dolph turned him down. A straight rejection that changed everything between them. Gotti didn't just shrug and walk away. According to the streets, he started blocking Dolph's moves, trying to slow down his rise and limit his impact in the game. But instead of stopping him, it made Dolph even bigger, even more respected, and their tension shifted from simple music competition into something way more personal, way more dangerous. Once those tracks started flying, interviews started popping up.
Become well regarded. I mean, Sean Jay-Z Carter speaks very highly of you, right? I mean, Steve Stout speaks very highly of you. You know, I can't find a person that says anything bad about Yo Gotti, and they always say how smart you are, how focused you are, and a lot to get into about your business personality.
And the whole situation got messy fast. Real street tension began mixing in with the music like gasoline hitting open flames. Right in the middle of all that chaos stood Blac Youngsta. He wasn't just delivering bars, he was out there acting them out, pulling up to neighborhoods, filming wild videos, and doing things most artists would never dare to test in real life. At first, people brushed it off as part of his image, that wild, unpredictable energy that made him stand out in a crowded industry. But now, looking back with everything we know, the behavior looks way more reckless than anybody realized at the time. Even Stan G said it straight with no hesitation. Those moves were federal, because Youngsta was putting himself in spots that could. It brought serious pressure on him and anyone standing beside him. That type of exposure, A&T. A joke, it paints a target that doesn't go away easily. And even if nothing was ever proven against Yo Gotti or Blac Youngsta, the streets already built their own version of the story.
Jury found the defendant, Hernandez Govan, not guilty in count 2 of the indictment.
It was said more than once as the 45-year-old was acquitted on both counts. Govan was unable to contain his excitement as he embraced his pro bono defense attorneys, but out of view were the supporters of Young Dolph who were hoping Lady Justice would tip in their...
Once your name gets tied to something heavy, that reputation doesn't fade. It sticks to you like a shadow you can outrun. That's the dark cloud hovering over CMG right now, and it's exactly why Youngsta doesn't look like the golden piece of the puzzle anymore. Instead, he looks like a reminder of a chapter the label can escape, no matter how much success they chase or how many hits they drop. There was a time when Youngsta was CMG's wild card, the spark plug that kept the whole brand loud and energetic. He was the one pulling stunts, cracking jokes online, flashing stacks, keeping CMG trending every single week. Anytime Gotti needed the spotlight back on the label, Youngsta lit the match and kept the flames blazing. Fans saw him as the loyal soldier, the one who'd ride until the end, the one who never folded under pressure or switched up. But now that loyalty looks complicated, heavy, and tied to a past CMG wishes they could erase, and that S where everything starts getting even more intense. No questions asked. That loyalty turned Blac Youngsta into a fan favorite, a real CMG soldier in the eyes of the streets. His energy made people feel like he'd go to war behind his label without ever thinking twice. But while everyone else saw devotion, Stan G looked at the situation from a whole different lens. He didn't call it loyalty, he called it manipulation. Said Youngsta was one of the biggest sendouts in Memphis, meaning Gotti would allegedly send him to handle all the risky, messy situations while Gotti stayed spotless behind the scenes. And when you break it down, that description fits the picture like a puzzle piece snapping into place. Gotti sitting back, cool, calm, collected, playing that quiet boss role while Youngsta took all the heat, showed all the actions, and made all the noise on camera. That setup worked perfectly back when everything was about energy, attention, and buzz. But that kind of role has an expiration date, and once Dolph was gone, everything flipped instantly. The same antics that once looked entertaining suddenly felt dangerous. The same loyalty that made Youngsta valuable started making him look reckless. And the same wild behavior that once boosted CMG started turning into baggage the label couldn't outrun. Every old diss, every flashback to beefs, every risky lyric, all of it got tied right back to Youngsta, making him look like the walking reminder of everything CMG wanted to bury. What used to make him the heartbeat of the label now makes him feel like the heaviest weight they reforced to drag behind them. Every wild stunt, every reckless move, every moment where he went overboard, it all circles back to him now that the spotlight has shifted. And now Youngsta's gone quiet in a way that speaks louder than anything he ever posted. Stan G even said straight up that Youngsta is in hiding mode because the Dolph situation still hangs over him like a permanent storm cloud. To the streets, that silence looks like guilt or defeat, to things that can destroy an artist's reputation instantly. And to Yo Gotti, that silence looks like liability, the kind of artist who could bring the wrong type of eyes to the label at the worst time imaginable. That's when things started becoming crystal clear. Something is definitely off inside CMG. Blac Youngsta has gone viral more than once for wiping CMG out of his bio and claiming he's independent. Every time he does it, the whole internet goes crazy, fans start connecting dots, and speculation takes over. Then, like clockwork, a few days later, he pops back up under the CMG banner, smiling like nothing ever happened. But this time feels different. Way different. The tension is too heavy, the timing too suspicious, and Stan G's warning still echoing through Memphis like a siren. Then Youngsta started dropping long emotional rants, and they weren't random venting. These posts were sharp, deliberate, and aimed straight at people who'd wronged him. He was calling out fake CEOs, fake big homies, and fake brothers, labels people in the city have used to describe Yo Gotti for years. And then he doubled down talking about fake love, fake loyalty, and trusting the wrong people at the wrong time. Every sentence felt like he was peeling back the curtain, exposing the cracks, and letting everyone know he wasn't playing the loyal soldier anymore. The tone behind Youngsta's posts was bitter, personal, and heavy, the kind of energy that feels like a man finally realizing the game he's been loyal to might be been using him the whole time. After everything that's happened, fans started wondering if this was the exact moment Blac Youngsta was ready to walk away from CMG for good. No turning back. What hit people the hardest wasn't the usual flashy talk or big money flexes. It was the emotion in every word he wrote. He talked about losing friends, being alone, realizing that no matter how much wealth you stack, life can still flip on you in ways you can't escape. That hits deep because it didn't. T sound like trolling or clout chasing. It sounded like someone who finally felt the pressure closing in from every direction. The timing was too perfect, too sharp, too close to everything else happening around CMG. Fans were already whispering that the label was cracked from the inside. And here comes Youngsta basically confirming what the streets had been side-eyeing for months. His posts didn't need names attached. The message was already loud, heavy, and pointed right where everybody expected it. Never wrote Yo Gotti's name directly, but he didn't have to. Everyone knew exactly who he was aiming at without a single tag or mention. You didn't need to read between lines because the tension was written in plain daylight. And then there's Gotti, the man who built his entire brand on that mob-style persona. Cool, quiet, and untouchable. Even his name was chosen to mirror John Gotti, the image he's modeled himself after for years. Calm, powerful. The type of leader who wants everyone to believe he's always 10 steps ahead. So when Youngsta threw those fake CEO and fake boss shots, Gotti didn't sit still. He fired back in his own polished, mafia-coded style. He dropped bars sprinkled with that smooth intimidation, referencing Jay-Z's Thai intro just to remind the world exactly who he thinks runs the table. That's when the energy shifted from tense to scary. Because in a mob-style structure, breaking rank isn't just disrespect, it's full-blown betrayal. And betrayal in that type of world never ends clean, never ends quiet, and never ends without somebody paying a price. And betrayal never ends clean. Not in a world built on loyalty, fear, and unspoken rules. After Young Dolph was gone, the tension between Blac Youngsta and Yo Gotti stopped being quiet whispers in barbershops and block corners. It became something you could feel in the music, see in the posts, and hear in the uncomfortable silence that followed. CMG's picture-perfect unity had cracked wide open, and everyone noticed. When Dolph was taken out, the streets didn't hesitate. Fingers were pointed instantly. A lot of those fingers were aimed straight at CMG. Even Yo Gotti's own brother, Big Juke, was picked up and questioned by police, and that alone sent shockwaves through Memphis. Then recently, the man accused of taking Dolph out, Hernandez Govan, got acquitted, and that verdict sent the internet spinning out of control. Anyone paying attention could feel it. The pressure around CMG shot right back into overdrive. And the last thing Gotti needed in a moment like that was someone from inside his own label stirring up the streets. But that's exactly what Blac Youngsta did. Out of nowhere, he dropped a music video filmed at a gravesite, standing right beside a headstone with Dolph's last name clearly visible. Then he followed it up with wild posts online like nothing mattered, moving with that ride or die mindset that once made him a legend in the eyes of fans. Maybe to Youngsta it was loyalty sticking to the image that built him. But to Gotti, that was a full nightmare. It looked reckless, insensitive, and dangerous for a brand already drowning in eyes and whispers. Fans caught the shift instantly. What used to look like fearless devotion now looked like a ticking time bomb strapped to the label's chest, ready to blow up everything CMG worked for. The cracks between Gotti and Youngsta weren't rumors anymore. They were obvious, loud, and impossible to ignore. CMG started losing the shine it once carried everywhere. Moneybagg Yo's crazy runs slowed down. 42 Doug got tangled up in legal trouble. And Blac Youngsta went silent like he was trying to disappear into the background completely. Even Stan G said it straight, Gotti can't move the way he used to. Not with all this attention hovering over the label since Dolph's death. Now the only one still keeping CMG's name alive in the spotlight is Glorilla. She's carrying the weight of the entire label on her back while the rest of the camp looks shaky, quiet, or tangled in drama. And with so many eyes locked on CMG, one wrong move can flip everything upside down in an instant. Glorilla is the last spark holding the whole label up, but no single artist can carry an entire empire forever, not when the pressure is this heavy. Streets can see it clearly. Momentum's slipping, the unity is cracking, and that once untouchable CMG machine looks more fragile every single day. People aren't talking about the next star rising anymore. They re-wondering who's about to fall out next. And this is where everything gets dangerous for Blac Youngsta. Because everyone knows Yo Gotti isn't just another rapper. He's plugged in deep. Stan G said it straight with no sugarcoating. Gotti's got ties in places most artists never touch. If he decides someone's career ends, it ends. If he wants legal smoke hanging over you, those storms can show up out of nowhere. That's real power, the kind that travels through boardrooms, back offices, and the streets at the same time. So when Blac Youngsta throws shade online, it's not just petty rebellion, it's high-risk, high-stakes business. In Gotti's world, being labeled a liability docentee just mean losing a contract. It can mean losing everything you've built from the ground up. Fans feel that tension in the air, the kind where silence hits harder than any diss track, and everyone starts reading between lines that were never written. Let's be real. If Yo Gotti and Blac Youngsta ever clash for real, this won't be a small music beef. This wouldn't be two rappers barking on social media. This could get ugly fast, because Gotti moves like the unofficial president of Memphis. He's got power, respect, and influence stretching far beyond the studio into business circles. Street politics and quiet industry conversations that never hit the internet. And if this ever turned violent, it wouldn't stay contained. It could spill into the streets, pulling in families, friends, and whole crews who had nothing to do with the original fallout. That's the level of danger people see brewing under the surface. And that's why folks keep watching every small move between them like it's the calm before a storm. But here's the twist. Blac Youngsta isn't built to fold. He's never been the type to stay quiet, bow his head, or play safe when he feels disrespected. And that stubborn fire is exactly why this situation feels like it's hanging off the edge with no safety net. Youngsta has always been the wild card, emotional, unpredictable, fearless, and willing to say the things most artists would never say out loud. That raw energy is what made fans love him, but right now, it's the same energy that makes him dangerous. When you mix his unpredictable fire with Gotti's cold, strategic boss-style moves, you get a formula that can flip into disaster at any moment. And everyone watching can see that this isn't just a simple disagreement. It's a brewing storm between two powerful personalities who daren't back down for anyone. Fans can feel the storm building, and nobody wants to see this turn into another tragedy like what happened with Dolph. The tension is too thick, too loud, and too real to ignore. Youngsta has been calling out fake CEOs while Stan G keeps warning the city that Gotti could flip on him at any moment. It's like the writing isn't just on the wall. It's glowing in bright red ink for everyone to see. The streets are watching closely. Even the same fans who once cheered for CMG's unity are now whispering about how bad things could get if this keeps spiraling. If something doesn't get corrected fast, CMG won't just lose one artist, the entire legacy Gotti built off loyalty. Hustle and power could crumble right in front of the world. The empire that once looked bulletproof now looks cracked and unstable. Like one wrong move could make everything collapse. At this point, the question isn't whether CMG is falling apart, that part is already clear to anyone paying attention. The real question is how far Gotti is willing to go to keep control of what's left. Because if Stan G's warning holds any weight, then Blac Youngsta might be standing on the edge of something much darker than a rap feud. He could be facing a situation that stretches far beyond music, far beyond posts, and far beyond labeled drama. This chapter between Gotti and Youngsta is nowhere near finished. It's still unfolding, still heating up, and still pushing both sides closer to a line neither of them can cross without consequences. The streets see it, the city feels it, and the industry knows this clash has the potential to shift the whole Memphis power structure in ways nobody expected. If you're locked in with everything going on between Yo Gotti, Blac Youngsta, and the CMG fallout, make sure you tap in with the channel, like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an update. The story is far from over, and the next twist might be the biggest one yet.